Welcome to my channel. This is the first episode of Scary Stories. These are stories that have been submitted by you guys, and then I read them for you all to hear. So if you want to submit your own story, click the link in the description and you might hear me reading your story in the next video. Also, please subscribe so you can be notified when new videos come out. And now onto the story. The Whispering House. My name is Emily. I'm 28 years old and I live in a moderately sized city. My boyfriend, Jake, who's 30, loves anything to do with the outdoors, camping, hiking, fishing, and exploring abandoned places. Since moving in together 6 months ago, he'd been trying to convince me to go exploring with him, but I always came up with an excuse not to go. But a couple days ago, he found the perfect place to explore, an old abandoned house on the outskirts of town rumored to be haunted. He was ecstatic, and being the great boyfriend that he is, he let me pick the day we were gonna check it out. It was a clear night with no clouds, a full moon, perfect for ghost hunting. We both got dressed up in our favorite flannel shirts, grabbed our flashlights and backpacks, and headed out. We pulled up in front of the old abandoned house. The moonlight cast long shadows on the overgrown grass and through the gnarled branches of the dead trees surrounding the house. A chill went down my spine. Despite the 70-degree weather, I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. I really didn't want to disappoint Jake, so I played off my fear with excitement. This is it, the old Henderson place. They say it's haunted. Perfect for our urban exploration blog. Jake looked skeptical. Haunted or not, it looks like it's about to fall down. Are you sure this is a good idea? I knew he wasn't buying my excitement, but I hoped he wouldn't try to change my mind. Come on, don't be such a scaredy cat. It's just an old house. We'll be fine. We got out of the car and headed toward the house. Once we were close enough, we could make out the peeling paint on the siding and the boarded-up windows. There was a large oak tree in front of the house with thick vines growing up its trunk. As we got closer, we could hear what sounded like whispers coming from inside the house. At first it was too low to make out any words, but as we neared the front door, it grew louder. Leave, leave, leave. Creepy, but probably just some kids playing nearby. I tried to shake off the goosebumps that had been multiplying on my arms since we arrived. As we reached the front door, Jake stopped. "Do you hear that?" he asked. I strained to listen. The whispers seemed to be coming from inside the house. "Leave now," they hissed. He took a hesitant step back. "Well, maybe we should just leave." "No, it'll be fine. Just a little creepy," I said with a nervous laugh. We pushed open the door and stepped inside. It was pitch black and the only sound was the whispering. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I saw that the floorboards beneath my feet were rotting in places. The air hung heavy with the smell of mildew and dust. We shined our flashlights around, revealing rooms filled with cobwebs and furniture covered in dust sheets. As we walked further into the house, the whispering grew louder. From another room we could hear footsteps, slow and deliberate. "Should we keep going?" Jake asked, his voice tight. I nodded, forcing myself to keep my voice steady. "Of course we should. This is why we came." I tried to ignore the feeling that I was being watched, that something was just beyond my sight, watching us with malevolent intent. We continued to make our way through the darkened rooms, each one more dilapidated than the last. Finally, we came to a set of stairs leading to the second floor. We started to climb the stairs, but before we reached the top, the whispering began again. "Leave, leave, leave." Jake gripped my hand. "This isn't funny anymore. Emily, let's get out." I knew he was right, but I couldn't bring myself to turn back. "Not yet. Just one more room. I want to see the old study." The stairs creaked under our weight as we climbed. We reached the second floor landing and turned toward what I assumed was the study. The boards in the floor sagged slightly under my weight. The door we needed was at the end of the hall. As we approached, we could hear voices whispering frantically. "Leave, leave, leave." Then a loud bang echoed through the house. Both of us jumped. "What was that?" Jake whispered. I shook my head. I had a nod. I felt a sudden urge to run, to get as far away from this house as possible, but something kept me rooted to the spot. Curiosity, fear, I wasn't sure which. We reached the door and I pushed it open. It swung inward easily. I peered inside. The room was empty, filled with cobwebs and dust. The leather chair behind the desk had collapsed in on itself. The books lying on the desk were so decayed that they had become little more than pulp. A mirror hung on one wall, its surface cracked. The whispering seemed to be coming from behind the mirror. "Leave, leave, leave now." I could feel the vibrations of the whispers through the floor beneath my feet. But then I noticed something else. The door we had come in through had slammed shut behind us. I turned to Jake, panic rising in my throat. The door, it's locked. I rushed to the door and started to shake it. Help me push, I cried. It wouldn't budge. From behind me, I heard Jake curse. Don't waste your breath. I don't think that door has a lock that works anymore. His voice sounded strained. I could hear the panic in his tone. The whispers grew louder, accompanied by a cold draft that sent shivers down my spine. You shouldn't be here, it hissed. I spun around to face the mirror. Behind me, I could see nothing but my own terrified face. But as I watched, the reflection rippled like water disturbed by a stone. The edges of my vision blurred, and for a moment, I could have sworn I saw a shadowy figure standing behind me. I turned back to the door, my heart pounding against my ribs. I tried to remember what my dad had told me when I was younger, that things only have power over you if you let them. Leave, leave, leave now. Taking a deep breath, I forced myself to remain calm. If I panicked, Jake would, too. I turned back to the mirror. The whispering seemed to be coming from inside my own head. I stared into the depths of my own reflection, trying to see past the cracks, trying to see what lurked behind me. Then I saw it. A pair of eyes stared back at me. They glowed an eerie green in the darkness. I stumbled back, knocking over a chair. The crash echoed in the small room. The creature moved, gliding toward me with unnatural speed, its eyes never leaving mine. Terror froze me in place. Turn around, Jake shouted. I followed his instructions. He stood behind me, his face pale in the dim light. I saw the corner of the mirror. It was all that was left of the creature. Then it was gone. The room was silent, except for the sound of my own breathing. We stood there for a moment, neither of us willing to break the silence. Then I turned back to the mirror, but the creature had vanished. I searched the room, but there was no sign of it anywhere. We ran for the door, Jake leading the way. We burst through it and raced down the stairs. The whispering followed us, growing louder with every step. We flew down the stairs and stumbled out of the front door. The fresh air hit us like a wave, bringing with it the scent of pine and damp earth. The whispering seemed to fade into the night. We didn't stop running until we were a safe distance away from the house. Panting, we turned to look back at the house. The windows glowed an eerie green in the darkness. Never again, I gasped out, my voice hoarse. Jake squeezed my hand, his grip tight. Yeah, the house doesn't want visitors, he agreed. We got in the car and drove home in silence. As I looked back at the house one last time, I could have sworn I saw a faint glow in the window. I shuddered and turned away. I didn't want to see what else it might reveal. The next morning, the sun shone brightly in the sky. Birds tweeted merrily outside my window. As I got ready for the day, I couldn't help but think about the house. Had what we experienced been real, or just a figment of our imaginations? I shook my head, trying to clear those thoughts from my mind. Whether real or imagined, it had been a frightening experience. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, please subscribe so you can be notified when new videos come out.